Day number 2 of the Kickoff Clash already off to a flying start. The Atlanta Reign take down the San Francisco Shock, the #1 seed here in the Kickoff Clash. They're sent to lower brackets, and the Atlanta Reign move on. We've got the LA Gladiators versus the Dallas Fuel. Whoever wins this will face the Atlanta Reign in a day or so.
Upset in the first match. I don't know if it's going to be an upset if either one of these teams win. It's such a close battle. It's hard to determine which team has the advantage. Very different styles between the two. The Dallas Fuel, with Harbin on that Xayah, really defined how they want to play the game, and a lot of other people have copied that. While the Los Angeles Gladiators, they've almost not played the Xayah at all, but they have so many other tricks up their sleeve. They're very good at the dive. They've liked the Doomfist. They've played a little bit of Rush. So what do you expect if you're the Dallas Fuel?
Yeah, it's a bit tough, and two completely different styles of play, like you mentioned. Like, we've seen a ton of the Fuel play the Zarya, the kind of creators of that comp, and pushing it forward to be kind of, I wouldn't say perma-meta, but more meta than a lot of other comps we are currently seeing. I've loved seeing the flexibility of Reiner on the LA Gladiators. He can play almost everything, like another rookie that has come in and shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Reiner's been phenomenal, especially with all the flexibility that he has for that team, and that's enabled them to have everything else. And when you have DPS players like Kevster, Paddypan, Arns,
yep,
anything's possible.
Anything is possible, but I think we better welcome one of those teams on the stage. Let's take a look at them, the LA Gladiators. A lot of players that have been around for a long time and a lot of new faces, kind of, well, that's normal for this year in the Overwatch League. Kevster coming out first, followed by Paddypan, who's slated for the league for so long. This guy took a break, dominated in a different game, came back, and is now dominating on the Glats.
Paddypan dominated me like 3 years ago in World Cup when I went to Thailand, and he's just such a good, flexible player. He was an interesting pickup for the Gladiators because, as you said, he hadn't been playing much Overwatch lately. He had a slow start to the season, but yesterday, I think he had his best match so far. Absolutely dominated on that Soldier, and that is important for the Gladiators because that seemed to be that missing piece for them in some of the reverse sweeps that they had to deal with so far this season.
Funny Astra and Shu in the backline as well. It does remind me of old Gladiators. Shaz and Big Goose, an extremely capable backline. That was the backbone of the team, just refused to die a lot of the time too. Like, they were unkillable, and two players that you could definitely rely on, and Shu and Funny Astro fit that role perfectly. And they also have Skewed on the bench. Like, the flexibility of this roster as a whole is unreal.
Shu on that Baptiste yesterday, showing that he can still make magic. If we see Shu go over to that hero today, you need to be afraid because that's a third DPS in the server. So he's just a phenomenal player, but also on that Ana. I'm curious to see if the Gladiators are going to come in with that confidence and if they're going to have an answer to the Dallas Fuel style.
I think the next team is the team that the crowd really want to see. We got the Dallas Fuel, the hometown heroes. Let's bring them out. Please put your hands together for the Dallas Fuel. Coming in as the #2 seed with 1 loss, 5-1 in the regular season so far. The only loss was actually on land to the Outlaws. They've shaken that off quite easily.
The jitters definitely weren't there yesterday. Once again, we see Sparkle taking the stage to begin with. We saw a lot of Doha, but Sparkle really making his presence, especially having that flexibility, being able to move over to that Mei on certain maps, always comes in clutch. But then you got to talk about the entire team. Chio, player of the match yesterday, had a phenomenal series. Just keeping his team alive, not dying, and just having impact, getting important kills at important moments in the middle of fights. And that's really enabling Fielder and on top of that Edison to really just control the match.
That's what you need right now in these metas, is an aggressive Lucio that can go straight to the back line, finish people off that are trying to run away, that are super low. And Chio is doing just that. Okay, that and just booping people off the edge of the map. We jumped onto Lijiang, I was going to call it Lijiang Tower. Lijiang Tower. And Chio was finding, yeah, man value, but also just, oh, well, goodbye, boop, massive load of ult charge, and building up beats at a record pace.
And that's it. We're going over to Lijiang Tower again as the first map. Spoilers, if Chio can have that same level of impact, it'll be important for them, but he's going up against the Gladiators. Funny Astro on the other side, who's also no slouch on that Lucio.
Yeah, a veteran Lucio player. I casted Funny Astro way back when on British Hurricane, and I'm not surprised at all that he's made it all this way to the league. An extremely aggressive Lucio that just wants to get in your face. It might just be a Lucio off in this game, to be honest with you. Lijiang Tower, like you said, is the first map. Are we going to see different things out of the Fuel? It doesn't really seem like it. We're not seeing Fearless jump in. We know the Gladiators, with this roster specifically, can play a whole bunch, like an assortment of different tanks and DPS. The Dallas Fuel, you kind of know what you're going in for, especially if you have Sparkle and Eddie coming in.
That is the story of this match right now. No one has been able to find an answer to the Dallas Fuel composition. People have tried mirroring it. We saw the Toronto Defiant, yes, they tried to mirror the Dallas Fuel and had some success, but eventually fell over the Gladiators. Are they going to be the first one to crack the code of the Dallas Fuel, of the Xayah Reaper composition? And the Gladiators, they have that bag of tricks that they can keep pulling out. They can play the Doomfist, they can play the Winston, they can even play the Rush. So they have all these things that they can throw at them. I'm curious to see on Lijiang Tower is a map we see a lot of variance depending on stage. What is the Gladiators going to throw at this composition that feels unbeatable?
The hometown favorites.
There they are. I thought you were getting quiet on me, crowd. You know, you guys are popping off in the Toronto Defiant match. They're going to need you for the Gladiators. The last time these two teams met, the Gladiators with a great start, 2-0. We thought, oh, maybe Dallas Fuel isn't going to be the same team. Executed that reverse sweep. I want to see Dallas Fuel to get off to a fast start in this series, because if you give the Gladiators traction, you never know. They might have gotten over their yips of causing these reverse sweeps.
It's just two matches so far. We've talked about teams reverse sweeping or getting reverse swept. I mean, a little bit ridiculous.
Keeps happening.
Gates are going to unlock. Reiner actually coming out on the Reinhardt to start us off.
We were asking what they were going to do to deal with this. This is an interesting map to play the Rush. You can see them going to the point. They know that the Dallas Fuel, they want to play this mid-range. Oh, Edison's down before anything happens. Gladiators make the Rush happen. Dallas Fuel were not ready for that one.
They were not. You've seen them kind of huddling behind the pillar. You've got a lot of AoE damage. The Helix rockets blow people up, but as soon as you have that speed boost, I said, Astro wants to go aggressive, and you wanted to run at them with this comp, but they did just that, and Dallas Fuel had to back up. Sparkle has to take a little bit more time, Scott, to set up on this Echo. He can get a lot of damage in, but finding the angles might be tough.
That's what Dallas Fuel is going to try. Actually, never mind. They're not going to try and do that. They're switching over to the Rush comp themselves. Feeler goes to the Baptiste, Hanbin on the Reinhardt, Sparkle on the Mei. Something we have not seen much from the Dallas Fuel so far this season.
All right, Ryan versus Ryan. There we go. We don't see this pick at all from Hanbin, really. You normally sub Fearless in if you want a little bit of Winston, a little bit of Reinhardt. Edison, the forward momentum you can get with this Reaper is quite extravagant sometimes. Nice wall onto Paddy. No ice block available. Sparkle gets the better for the like. Nice lamp coming out from Shu. He's just keeping Reiner alive, but he couldn't back up. A nice tactical bites from the side from Kevster, and he gets finished off by Chio, but he's still netted 3 kills in that fight. Sparkle's gone pretty low and can't wait for his ice block. Shu's able to finish him off, and Shu, the 3rd DPS from the Glads, striking home.
Shu on the Baptiste is always there to close out these fights. Most importantly, the Gladiators still have the point. The ticking is still going up at 50%, and the Gladiators, they have that amplification matrix, but so do the Dallas Fuel, and they go first. Okay, Astro trying to calm in the camera there. Ryan's got an easy at times, swinging around. Beautiful pin, and Hanbin goes down. Didn't expect that one. Was expecting Ryan to peek his head through the wall, but Walmaria stands strong. Dallas Fuel, they do Chio finds 2 boobs. Astro and Patapan actually end up going down. They should be able to get back to the point quickly, but still big picks. Those are very important picks by Chio. He goes back to the spawn, speeding his team forward. With those picks, they might actually be able to just cross this bridge if they wanted to, but no. They're going to opt towards going to the White Room. The Gladiators at 90%. They have so many ultimates to deal with this as well. How are the Dallas Fuel going to break this one open? They only have Chio's beat.
10% away from Hanbin, Shatter. Reiner could just lay it down. He does just that. 2 people on their backs. The Blizzard comes through. Somehow that pin does not connect, but Patapan finds Sparkle in the Blizzard. Deleted the Immortality field, and now it's just a brawl on the bridge. Reiner comes up big, and Patapan just finding these final blows. Overtime ticking down, and the Gladiators. Oh, 100-0, the Fuel.
Interesting. Coming into this first round, the Dallas Fuel not confident in the Xayah matchup versus the Rush from the Los Angeles Gladiators. I do not see this being a path forward for the Dallas Fuel if they want to beat the Gladiators playing the Rush. Reiner, exceptional Reinhardt. Paddy Pan has been flawless on the Mei so far in this tournament. Shoe on that Baptiste. I understand getting caught off guard by the Dallas Fuel, but I want to see them going towards this composition more. Stick to what you're good at, find a way around it, and find a way to adapt, because if you end up in that mirror, you're playing the Gladiators game, and that's an uphill battle.
Sparkle has a lot of ways to get into the backline, but getting that damage in past that wall and the shield from Reiner might be a little bit tough, so the blade a little bit slower in its generation. Oh my goodness, Sparkle took so much damage, and look at that. Nice wall. Harmbin in trouble. Someone needs to save him. Did squeak past it, but Sparkle. Shu ends up going down. Sparkle found an opening. There's one, there's two. Kevster goes down two. We'll call that three. Okay, Dallas Fuel, they noticed that wall go up, and that was go time.
That's the Sparkle I want to see in this series. Struggled early on the Genji. We thought Dallas Fuel with Sparkle on a Genji meta, it was going to be incredible, but he was underwhelming, and we saw them move away from that style, but Sparkle already getting that first pick up on Shu. They need to keep that aggression up. Don't allow the Gladiators to make these kind of plays, get towards the point, and then rush down their backline.
Swift rotation. Chio trying to go for a boom. Was unsuccessful. Sparkle now in the backline. Lamp has been forced, and Reiner's already dead. Chio finds the boop onto Padapan. Chio once again finding these final blows. Look at that. 3K, I'll take that. Astro, you know, he claims his life, but it don't matter. You need to reset anyway.
Ego, that was funny. Astro gets Chio and then jumps off. He's like, no, my job is done here, and jumps off. But that's the tempo from the Dallas Fuel that you need to get to. Look at the ultimate difference from Chio to Funny Astro. Honestly, across the board, the Sparkle Blade is going to be the thing you need to look out for. Are they going to wait for the Nano, or are they going to try and surprise Gladiators with this one?
Edison TP into the high ground, expecting them to come out the doors, but Gladiators rotated to that mega health pack, and in fact all the way around. Very early ice block there from Padapan. The blade's coming in. Sparkle's not going to wait for that Nano. He just dashes straight through him with Field. A huge snake to follow up as well. Can they actually get the resets? Yes, he can. The Nano applied. Kills going Sparkle's way. The Dallas Fuel with a crowd behind them wipe the Gladiators off the map.
Enormous biotic grenade from Fielder there, because Sparkle gets out the immortality field, which is great with the blade, but unable to follow anything else up. Fielder puts in that biotic nade, and that's go time for the Dallas Fuel. Now Gladiators, they're starting to get to their ultimates, but they haven't been able to find anywhere to go. Edison's going into the room with them.
In the back, they're all so low, and Edison with a triple kill against 5 members of the Glads. They didn't stand a chance. Reiner and Paddy clean up the DPS of the Fuel, but they'll be able to get back to the point quite quickly. And look at where Harmbin's positioned. He's 10% away from that grab, Scott.
He's trying to play on this off angle. The Gladiators are going to have to rush towards the point. Are they going to run into a crossfire from the Dallas Fuel? On the backline, you can see the backline split. Shu doesn't know where to go.
Harmbin's got the grab, he's setting up for it. The beat comes through from both teams. A good pin, but absorbed by the bubble. There's the grab, the kill from Paddy though, and the Gladiators trying to make their stand with this Blizzard. Shu does fall, but Astro and Padapan are cleaning up. It was 99% when they found the flip, so now, with almost no ultimates in the bank, Gladiators need to defend.
Either does the Dallas Fuel though, and this is where it gets hard. When the Gladiators are able to choose the engagement window and the Gladiators are having to walk forward, how do you engage into this fight? Sparkle's almost at this blade. They're probably going to play for a disengage if the Gladiators try and rush. Wait for them to go, wait for them to use that amp usage, and then disengage, go back in with Sparkle Blade.
Nice not using Deflect there. He knows he's going to get Blade soon, so wants to use it when he actually activates it. Fielder's not going to have that Nano, but he goes to Blade anyway. He spots Shu up onto the high ground. Key with the Immortality Field, and Shu ends up going down. They do trade to support for support as Fielder falls, but Edison marching forward. Reiner, nothing but mint speed now. Pada falls, and the Fuel are running over the Glads. That Blade and Edison just holding WM1. Kill off Kevster, and that should be it. The Fuel are going to claim the point. A wave goodbye for Edison, and overtime ticking through. Reiner comes back on the Doomfist, but he is quickly eliminated. And now it's up to Funny Astro to see this one to another round, but it's not going to work. The Dallas Fuel with a round in their back pocket. Now we go to Control Center.
And this summarizes what we were saying in the pre-show. what is going to happen? We have two very different styles going to head-to-head, and you can see that's map-specific. Dallas feel confident in their Xayah style, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that head-to-head matchup of the Xayah versus the Reinhardt again on Command Center. Both teams playing to their strengths, and here's just an incredible play by Chio, just making so much work and getting so much done time and time again for the Dallas field.
This movement's impeccable, I will say. It's really good. It's really nice seeing good Lucio players, and their movement is just insane and so fluid. Oh, Kevster on the cast. No Cassidy action as we roll out.
We saw him pick this up yesterday and got a lot of work done, especially with that grenade. Really helps deflect that Reaper and the Genji from getting in your face. The advantage from the Gladiators with their speed boost and the Reinhardt. The Dallas Fuel don't want to take that fight in a narrow corridor. They want to get around them, choose their engagement window.
TP into the back for Edison. Him and Sparkle just want to get into the back line ASAP. Unfortunately, with Chio dying, that leaves Glad as such a massive advantage. Attempted deflection of the grenade, but Funny Astro kills Sparkle. Edison also suffers the same fate at the hands of Shu. Gladiators, the point unlocks, and it will be theirs. They'll have Fuel lose that first fight, but look at that ult charge that Hampin has built up. He is 20% towards that, away from that grab, not towards it, away from it.
He's been putting in a lot of work, but Gladiators, they want to force the Dallas Fuel through this choke. Chio needs to be more careful. He can't be getting picked off like that, but this becomes very hard. Patty Pan's waiting with the wall. You can see Edison trying to go in there, bait the wall out of Patty Pan, and then the disengage from the Gladiators because they know that the flank is coming from the Dallas Fuel through the dark room.
Yeah, look at Paddy looking to wall anybody that comes through server. TP from Edison's right on top of the Gladiators. Nice nade though by Fielder. Can this be followed up? I don't think so, as Paddy's just holding WM1. Fielder going pretty low. I think Edison made a little bit of a mistake there. You ideally want to teleport into the back line. Beautiful grab from Harbin though, and a nano boost on top. It was a bait all along. A 5k for the Fuel. The Gladiators did not see that one coming.
A bit of disconnect from Edison and Hanbin there. Edison teleports in, does not get the bubble, instantly deleted. But Hanbin, his brain's just too big, it's too wrinkly. He feels the Gladiators getting overzealous and then counters with the Graviton Surge and closes that one out. But all the ultimates up for the Gladiators now.
Blade for Sparkle. Kevster trying to dodge out the way. The rest of his team aren't so lucky though. That's one, that's two, that's three kills almost if he gets Funny Astro. Not quite so lucky, but the Fuel making their stand at the doors.
Nothing left in the tank for Dallas Fuel right now. They have the Beat and the Death Blossom coming up while the Gladiators have everything to answer it. How are the Dallas Fuel going to play this? They need to be careful dealing with the wall as the Gladiators are actually going to route away from that choke into the dark room to give themselves a favorable position.
Shadow coming up. Gladiators have the Beat. They're going to use it to go for this engagement. Kevster doesn't receive it though, and the Dallas Fuel know it. He is so low and taken out instantly. But Shu, again, third DPS for the Gladiators, take out Edison and Sparkle. Humbin now in a whole world of trouble. Shadow right in front of him. He blocks it with the bubble. Can they follow up with any meaningful damage? He's still being kept alive by Fielder somehow in the back. Now 10% away with the grab. He's still doing work. Someone please kill Humbin. Padapano falls, and the Dallas Fuel with maintaining control of this point this whole time. He eventually ends up going down, but not after an unbelievable amount of pressure from the Glads. Edison and Sparkle come back with vengeance and kill off the rest of Los Angeles. 83% now for Fuel.
Unable to get that flip, so the Dallas Fuel keep ticking up, and they're going to the last fight. And Hanbin didn't even have to use that Graviton Surge after putting in so much work in that round. The Gladiators, they don't have many answers for this one, and they just walk into it.
Graviton Surge and a nano onto Sparkle. Dash, 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 reset. Nice pin, buddy. It does end up getting the kill, and Kevster is on the point. Someone had to trigger overtime. They're using the window as a good little defensive tool, so Dallas Fuel can't approach them. They find the flip in the end. Feels like maybe that nano was supposed to go onto Hanbin Zarya, but Sparkle did a fair bit of damage in that fight, aiding to a lot of ult charge towards that blade.
Gladiators getting away with that one a little bit. It looked bad for them. Hanbin switching over to the Doomfist and then going back to the Xayah, maybe unsure, maybe trying to come back to the point a little bit faster. But Reiner with the Shadow, he's going to be wanting to play this aggressive style, get that Shadow onto the backline.
Just 5% away, that's One fast, right? Oh, there you go. Shadow's online. Looking at Hanbin. Wants to force those bubbles first. There's a lot of people just jumping around him. Everybody with ODM gear, it seems like. Oh. Nice sleep, though. The Shadow from Hanbin. A Shadow onto Hanbin was good enough to result in a kill. Padhan followed up. 83% now for the Glads. Dallas Fuel need one fight. The Blade is online.
Paddypan has the ability with his wall and his ultimate to be able to force the Dallas Fuel in the direction that they want. Keep an eye out for that one. And Kevster with the high noon. This is going to be hard for Dallas Fuel to engage.
Extremely difficult. They've got the beat, though. That might be their tool. The Blizzard comes out. Hanbin is trapped. The Deadeye from the side. The Gladiators unleash their wall of damage. And 99 will tick over to 100. And the Gladiators will claim control.
Little bit of difference there from the Gladiators and the Washington Justice. Yesterday, Dallas Fuel able to close out those fights with that Graviton Surge. That is the fight that went away for the Dallas Fuel for me. When Hanbin got that triple Graviton Surge, they just weren't able to close it out with that missed nano. Gladiators taking the first map, looking good, and you can see this head-to-head evolving as we go on. Are the Gladiators going to keep continuing to play this rush against this Zarya style of the Dallas Fuel as we go further onto different maps?
Hybrid is up next. I don't want to say it, but we'll maybe bring it up next map. That reverse sweep is possible if the Glads get 2-0 up. The curse is here. I know. Okay, I know. I'll calm down for the moment. I'll do that in this break. I'll see you in a sec.
Who's that support? It's Shu! Shu!
It's on the high ground. What do they do here? Shu has taken so much damage. He's been pushed down to the low ground, and the aggression is just enough. That's going to be Havana going to the Gladiators, and we are going the distance here. Shu, what is that?
That is so good from Shu. What a beast in the back line.
Wait, they're getting pushed off the point.
My goodness.
It's still winnable for the Gladiators.
Certainly are.
BKB, he gets slapped. It doesn't even come out. The Gladiators are coming back on the point. No way!
This is huge. And the Gladiators squeak over the line. That's how you get those insane statistics. Shu is just absolutely insane.
Oh, he gets shut down. Shu finds it, Nero. He's in shock.
What a brilliant performance from an MVP candidate here. Take a sip of your milk or whatever that was. You deserve it. And what's going through my head over and over is that Amp Matrix play from Shu. What a individual clutch.
It's going to be desperation
Shu?
now for the Gladiators.
Shu's turning it with his Amp Matrix.
With the Amp Matrix. Jimu's been taken out. I don't believe that. You have got to be kidding me.
A world-class Batiste player. Shu showing up big once again on that first map. Like, he's in the kill feed, I think, more than the DPS right now, the Gladiators.
Well, funny you say that because he had 12 final blows in the last map, and the next person above him was Kevster at 15.
Yeah.
Everyone else on the Gladiators was below him. He is absolutely getting all the final blows for this team, and he's just so dominant in these rush compositions. That's what he was so good at last year as well. He's just always having those moments, those clutches after clutches. It feels like every time a fight devolves, Shu just somehow ends up being alone and just shooting down on everybody. So absolutely phenomenal play. We're heading over to King's Row with no substitutions, Jack, which means that we're probably going to see something similar that we just saw on Lijiang Tower. Are they going to play the rush?
What's a little bit mad, actually, is that Dallas Fuel, well, they lost the first map, so they chose this one. They chose to go against Gladiators on a more rush-centric map. You can kind of predict what Ryan's going to play. He's going to be playing that Ryan. They're going to be running people down with Paddy on the main.
Funnily enough, in the series that we just watched, the Atlanta Reign versus San Francisco Shock, the Atlanta actually played the Xayah composition versus the San Francisco Shock Rush, and the San Francisco Shock had nowhere to go. If you can play the right way with your Xayah compositions, make it impossible for them to run anyone down, it can work very well. So it's not too surprising from the Dallas Fuel, but they need to prove it's going to work. And it has to come down to it. Are the Gladiators going to try that rush style again on King's Row?
Science point to yes. That is for sure. We know what Dallas Fuel are running. They're on the defense. So, again, same kind of thing. Edison, Reaper, Sparkle on the Genji. Humping last round, though. Just the ult charge generation was just absurd. After the first fight, he had 80% towards that grab. Like, unprecedented pace.
He's just getting so much energy. He's so heavily in the front lines that he gets energy and he's just able to beam people down. So the Gladiators, they need to find a way, if Hanbin does that, get that energy to isolate him and get him down. And you saw, Ryan is willing to use solo shatters. They're willing to use Mei ultimates to close it out. Kevs are taking some shots here, unable to get anything done, and it is true. They're going to play the rush style and walk up these right stairs, as we saw the San Francisco Shock do.
Yeah, down to the statue. Trying to, whoa, how did you get that far up in the air? Straight to the spawn for the Gladiators, though. And Edison, Chio, see in a sec.
Wow. Okay.
Dallas Fuel tried to dive on the back line. They were like, okay, we'll just return to our own spawn. And hey, how you doing?
It feels like they saw Shu in the back line, decided that they might be able to isolate him before the fight even begins, but Gladiators were ready for it. As soon as they saw that move go by the Dallas Fuel, they come back to their spawn. Dallas Fuel ends up in the Gladiators spawn, and they get a very quick capture. 3 minutes, and now they have 5:30 remaining in the map just to cap the second point.
My word. Very quick point A captures today already on King's Row. Add that to the books. This is ideally where Gladiators want to hold those, Scott. Or not hold, they want to push the cart, but it's very beneficial for the Ryan to be in these small corridors. You want to push up, use that Mei wall to isolate Hanbin.
And Hanbin's got to be careful about
it. Speed boost, wall, boom, instantly killed. Hanbin did not stand a chance. Sparkle already using that deflect. Ryan is just swinging. He's charging. He's getting kills. Oh my goodness. The Dallas Fuel need to find a footing in this game. They've got nothing to stand on. And the Shu and Matrix available. Reiner, he's got Shadow coming up. They've got Visor. The Gladiators could roll onto second quite easily.
And the Dallas Fuel, they need to find a way to get into these fights because it feels like the Gladiators are just running them down before Dallas Fuel has even managed to get energy onto Hanbin. With all these ultimates, it's going to be hard for the Dallas Fuel. They need to get value from this field of Nano.
Shadow might be a little bit tough to hit. You've got to deal with the bubbles. Genji's jumping in the air. Edison can use shift. If he just lines them up and knocks them down, should be pretty easy. Dallas Fuel still need to contest. There's the Nano, it's on Edison, but a big Shadow hits two. Can they finish off Hanbin? Not quite. He's so low. There's a Visor on the side from Kebster through the window and a Blizzard to isolate the Dallas Fuel. They need to be able to touch the point. There's a 1 meter to go, and Edison is in the subway right now. Had to use the Wraith to get out. The Graviton Surge from the Dallas Fuel is good. Sparkle's using the blade on top. He's eventually getting the kills. The beat from Astro wasn't quite enough to sustain them through. And the Dallas Fuel, they make their stand on point B.
Poor ultimate usage from the Gladiators there. They used the amplification matrix and the visor all the way back at this subway station, so the Dallas Fuel are able to just pull back, and then Patty drops down the Blizzard, but no one can follow it up. So everything was just thrown with no synergy, so the Dallas Fuel are able to sustain through it, come back with their ultimates with the Hanbin, Graviton, and the Chio beat. So now Gladiators, they have nothing to work for them right now. How are they going to route to close the distance on the Dallas Fuel? You see them taking this high ground.
Taking the high ground away. Nice little boot.
Great boot.
Isolates people. Shu in trouble. Has to use the immortality field, but Edison's chasing after him. What a fantastic setup by Chio yet again. These boots have been supreme. Dallas Fuel still holding strong. Oh,
close to it, Charlie Niner.
Oh my word. I don't think the Fuel would have been able to stand that. If that went through, that would have been disaster of the week.
Especially seeing as the Gladiators are in a bad spot now. They have to close so much distance to get to the Dallas Fuel, and Dallas can set up a trap at any one of these corners. They can choose the engage window, while the Gladiators, it feels like they're just going to have to walk into them. They're going the exact same routing that they did last time. It is a good route because it's hard to... Oh, but they're walling very far away, and they've got Hanbin.
I think Hanbin thought the same thing. Maybe he's going the same way. Luckily, there was a small gap in the wall, so he's able to jump around it. Funny Astro going pretty low. Should be fine. The Dallas Fuel backing up, playing the corner. Only one way for Gladiators to go. There's the wall. Hanbin in trouble. Got a bubble, not a second one. Shu using the window for himself once more and taking care of the Reaper. A couple of meters to go. The Fuel need to touch, but they're unable to do so. Point B unlocks. Now, all eyes to the final one. 3.5 minutes to go. And once more, Reiner and Patapan so close to these ults. These are map or round-ending ults. Blizzard near the spawn, you could isolate Hanbin, and then they're good to go.
Dallas Fuel have so many ultimates coming up. They got the Hanbin grab, they got the Genji blade. They're going to look for that combination again. You can see Hanbin looking for it, not wanting to pop it too early. Gladiators are posturing so far back, waiting for this ultimate to go
on the blade. He eventually gets it. The immortality field is gone. Sparkle with two and another one. Those stats getting padded by Sparkle. Nice combo. They save that grab and the beat for the next fight. A good stand, and what's this? A trap.
We've got Hanbin on the high ground, but hey, well, what's this as well? The Gladiators, they're having a respectful high ground fight right here. Hanbin's waiting for the grab. I don't know if he's expecting the Gladiators to be up here with him.
Oh, there's the shadow, but it's blocked by the bubble. Perfectly played by Hanbin, but unfortunately, Reiner kills Spark with a fire strike in the small corridor. A Blizzard's been used, and Fielder and Hanbin are in trouble. Chio's finished off by Kebster. What was or looked like a nice play from the Fuel and Hanbin was thwarted by Patapan's Blizzard, and Reiner just standing strong with the shield.
Gladiators closing the distance right now with 2 minutes remaining. Dallas Fuel, they have the beat to get out of the spawn door, but the person I'm looking for is Edison. He's going to need to get high value with this death boss because Kebster's going to be pumping out damage from the backline with the visor.
Astro's got the beat to rely on. Looks like Reiner wants to back up. Hasn't got a lot of shield left, so can't really withstand all that incoming damage. This is their chance to go. Kebster maybe looks for a small flank, but has to be careful. Edison had to Wraith form out pretty early. Wall comes up, charge from Reiner, doesn't find all too much, and Death Blossom is taken care of. Kebster is making his mark. He's got the window, he's got the visor, and he's got the kills. Hanbin goes down, a triple for Kebster. And round completion for the Gladiators with time to spare, 1 minute and 40 on the clock.
Edison jumping the gun that little bit too much, using that Death Blossom while the beat was still just lingering on there for the Gladiators and was unable to get any of those kills. And the Gladiators, the thing I want to highlight from them is the routing. They seem to have great understanding of how they want to move around this map, prioritizing high ground and not allowing the Dallas Fuel to set up the way that they want. I don't think I've been playing this game for 6 years. I've never seen a fight happen on that top catwalk on the 3rd point. That has to be a first. Incredible play by the Gladiators. You know that they are prepared and they know how to play this composition against what the Dallas Fuel are throwing at them.
Padapan just makes it just so difficult with the Mei. You saw, you can not only put the Mei wall up, you've got Reiner's just standing there with a shield. That top catwalk fight, Reiner got a flame strike. I guess Padapan maybe hit Sparkle with an icicle too. And the Blizzard was perfect, just throws it straight away. You can see on the HUD in the top right, oh, well, you can just see them now. That both of them throws trying to get away. Humpin had already used one of his bubbles to block the shatter, so he can't use it for himself to get out, and he can't use it on Fielder to also escape.
Padapan's been so impressive to me on this Mei. Not just his ultimates and his icicles that are impressive, but his walls. It's a surprisingly difficult ability to use, especially when you have the Dallas Fuel so spread out. You can only really isolate Hanbin, and he's done such a good job of it so far, really making it difficult for the Dallas Fuel. They're going to play the same thing on their offense, confident in their ability to play it, and the Gladiators doing the same.
Nice little wall to, oh, Edison. Would have been quite nice if Edison got stuck there, but unfortunately not for the Gladiators. Now they can march on forward. They can take whatever space they so choose. Harmon has to burn bubbles. Reiner can just hold the right click.
But you saw that's what Dallas Fuel wanted. We saw the drop from the Gladiators and Reiner onto the point. Now when they rotate up, Dallas Fuel take that positioning. They've got Hanbin on the point already, slowly taking ticks.
They get the first one. Yes, they do. They're actually trying to deal with Sparkle on the side. You can see his blue silhouette.
He has to
trying to run away with Kevster. Wow, he picks up a health pack, so he's more than safe. Kevster is still on a very annoying flank. Of course, in this top window, you can just shoot everybody at the back. Reiner's in a little bit of trouble, but Kevster's still pumping out that damage. Hanbin goes pretty low. There's the wall to separate the team, and Hanbin caught on the other side. Fielder did not have a sight line. As soon as that wall came up, you praised him just a second ago, and another fantastic use of the wall by Padapan. The Fuel, they burn a minute of their time bank. They've got a couple of ticks to work with here, which is all good. Can Edison find much more? He did kill the lamp, but that's about it. Kevster actually going pretty low. Fielder comes up big with a nade and just a single shot. Fielder just putting in so much work. He may have gone down, but Edison's going to be able to finish this fight, surely. Nice wall. Oh, wait, that wall stopped Edison getting pinned, and now they're just cleaning up the Dallas Fuel. They're going to be able to claim point A and get the payload going.
Sneaky, sneaky Fielder waiting in those stairs. I don't think anybody expected him to be there. Ends up peeking out, getting that biotic nade, gets the punish, and then hits an incredible sleep. You're going to see it right here for you. What is he doing here? But gets the hit, gets the biotic nade, hits that shot, gets the sleep onto Shu as well. You can't ask for more from your Ana player.
You sleep on Shu, you can't use Immortality Field, you can't use the Regenerative Burst, the Shift. Nanoblade for Sparkle, he's peeking from the rafters, Nano applied, he's got targets in his sight, doesn't want to dive into the window though, but he might have to. Reiner's dead, Shu to follow, there's 2 for Sparkle. Dallas Fuel all the meanwhile dealing with the fight. Kevster's got the kill, but it don't matter. Edison's gonna clean up. Nice Nanoblade. And Fuel's ultimate economy, once again, looking strong. They only need to use 2, and they have 3 for this next one.
Great presence of mind by Sparkle, not rushing into that corridor. They were waiting for him, waits until Reiner gets low and punishes, but the Gladiators are coming back with so many ultimates. Padapan, I'm sure he's looking for this Mei ultimate. He's looking for a wall onto Hanbin to isolate him, but Edison on the rafters as well. Why do they keep meeting up here?
Secret meeting spot, not sure. Shatter for Reiner. He's lining up. Spot Sparkle jumping up to the high ground. He wants to be able to find Fielder. He gets him. Fire strike lands, but a perfectly timed beat from Chio keeps him in the fight. Padapan using that Blizzard, but Edison jumps straight to the back and kills Kevster. 2 DPS dead. Make that 3. Padapan falls. And a perfectly executed dive from the Dallas Fuel. Edison making the space in the back. The entirety of the Glads look around to try and deal with him. But it is Sparkle and Fielder once again cleaning up house. Fielder slept the Mei, The May can't chase down Fielder, and Sparkle gets the execute kill.
And Edison coming in clutch with that Death Blossom, getting in so much damage. It costs him his life, but that's what he needs to do. Give that space so that Sparkle and Fielder can do that cleanup. Kevster with this visor, Hanbin with that Graviton Surge. The Los Angeles Gladiators, they want to get 2 fights on this point, so they're trying to hold this corner, but they know they're giving respect to Hanbin. Funny Astro's dead before the fight's even begun.
He's dead. Kevster, desperation, using that visor to try and get some more work done, but a nice grab on the payload from Hanbin ends Reiner's life quick, sharp. The Dallas Fuel, what are they nearing, Scott? Well, I'll tell you, it's a Nanoblade. They got 4 minutes to go, and the final corner has been approached. The cart's so close to being delivered.
Cycling these ultimates perfectly. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dallas Fuel go very early when they see them walk out these spawn doors. Nanoblade coming.
Nanoblade, Sparkle jumping in. Padapan goes into the ice block. Reiner's off the map. Does mean Sparkle doesn't get a reset, but it don't matter. There's another 2. Shoes in spawn, and the Fuel off the back of Sparkle's blade once again. They cap 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the time bank. This is what the crowd came here to see.
Doing what he does best. The Dallas Fuel as well showing a perfect cycling of ultimates. They have the Graviton Surge, they have the Death Blossom, they have the Nanoblade, just using them one after another, winning team fight. Gladiators just don't have an answer with the May. If they can't choose the tempo of the fight, they just fall over. If they can't get value from that wall, Hanbin is able to move around freely, and they can't punish anything that the Dallas Fuel is doing. Ooh. The Gladiators looking like they're going to want to come out on the rush again on their attack when they're able to set the tempo. How are the Dallas Fuel going to adjust to try and deal with this? Last time they went for the touch the spawn challenge. Did not work very well.
Reiner, oh, he tried to go for the charge. Of course, you can cancel them now, but just B-hopped at the very end. Rough stuff. 3 minutes and 30 seconds on King's Row. Pretty impressive these days. I mean, people have gotten so good at defending that last point, but the cycling ults from the Fuel clean through both point 2 and point 3.
King's Row is one of those maps, though, that once you hit that overtime wick, it starts burning down. It becomes very easy to start snowballing through. So if you're the Gladiators, you just need to win that first fight, start everything moving, and you can easily start getting very, very far and make that 340 not that important.
Oh. Sonic arrow to reveal anybody in the theater, and then a Widow switch. Sparkle narrowly escaping with his life. Lucky Kevs to hit a body shot. Glad's doing the same thing, Scott. But look at this.
So Dallas
also. Theater has been taken. Hanbin in trouble, but Reiner's got his back to Hanbin. Not where you want to be, son. Chiyu does fall, but with Reiner going down, there's so much less protection for the Gladiators to roam around. Immortality Field used to get Padapan out, who is antied. Dallas Fuel now burning time down. Glads have 60 seconds to go.
There's the adjustment by Dallas. They go aggressive and then they come back, but the Gladiators are coming back fast with some of the deaths of the Dallas Fuel. Reiner's on the point. The Dallas Fuel are being forced back, but Kevs is in their backline, but Edison is hunting him down.
Luckily, he has that healing station by his side. The action is actually happening below him, so he has no sightline on this whatsoever. Astro jumping to the back line, killing a fielder. Chiyu is nanoed and doing the damage. Why not give it to the support if he's doing things like this? The 1v1 versus Astro. Does he manage to win it? A couple of punches will do it. No! Shoes there to the clean. And Gladiators, they do manage to wipe the Fuel, take point A, get the cart going, but with almost no time left, the Dallas Fuel need to win this next fight, and they will stop them from advancing.
Chiyu making miracles happen there, but the Dallas Fuel are slowly ticking up with their ultimates. Importantly, they did commit the Fielder Nano into that one, so they will not have that Nano Blade coming into this fight. The Gladiators, they have the amplification matrix. I think if you're the Dallas Fuel, you need to start playing aggressive, start getting some of these ultimates out of the Gladiators, because if you try and walk in, actually they're going to, different idea, they're going to take the high ground, choose the ability to drop, and they're going early.
Wall's already been used. Padapan tried to stop them going through one window, but they went through the other. Overtime is here. Reiner is separated from the rest of his team. The lamp has already been used from Shu to try and help himself get kills. Sparkle is dead, but the Graviton Surge is good. The follow-up damage is also there. Huge nade by Fury, and step off the payload. The Dallas Fuel at the very end come up massive. Sparkle may have died, but Hanbin's grab on top of Fielder's nade secured them the payload, and the Gladiators, they know exactly where they need to defend, but the Fuel, with a 3 minute and 30 second time bank, are looking good.
Dallas Fuel showing their smarts. I thought they were going to have to disengage from the ultimates of the Gladiators, but they're mitigating them by taking and routing around them, forcing the Gladiators into a position they didn't want to be in. Harbin, incredible Graviton Surge, and this is very attackable if you're the Dallas Fuel. 330 in the bank. All they got to do is get some of their ultimates up. We talked about the cycling of it before. Play smart. Don't let the Gladiators start running you down, because Gladiators have to go first. They are the rush composition. You can't just allow the Dallas Fuel to maneuver around you. Let's see if the Gladiators have mid-map adaptation that they're going to need right here.
Remember, Fielder opened it up last time around. Just sneaky, hiding away where that mega health pack is. Nade, couple of shots onto the soldier, and then sleeping Shu. That's how the Glads, that's how Fuel did it last time around. Glads maybe a little bit more wary this time.
I think Harbin's trolling us, playing the Winston.
A little bit, yes. No, Zarya, TP forward. The game ends here regardless, Scott. Dallas looking to tie the series up.
Getting Fielder onto this high ground. He's very defensible up here. The Gladiators have no real means of getting up to punish him. So the Dallas Fuel, what we saw from the last time is they wanted to get Harbin on the point, but Reiner not giving them that avenue this time. They're stuck on the floor though. Edison getting caught by Kevster though.
Yeah, very early wall. Edison falls. Sparkling a little 1v1 with Astro, does back away. They've got a lot of time to burn those, Scott. It's not the Gladiators. Gladiators are on such a small clock.
But 3 minutes 30, that goes away very, very quickly. And Dallas Fuel, they need to be careful. They can't keep getting picked like that.
Nice little flank from Sparkle. Go time. No, that wall, not so great. The rest of Fuel just walk around it. And now Palapan playing back with Reiner. Attempted charge in. Immortality Field burned super early. Edison from the side is going to be able to destroy it, and Harbin finishes the job, killing off Reiner. The Dallas Fuel looking good. Main tank removed for the Glads. Shu nearing the window, but it doesn't matter. Sparkle reset after reset manages to kill Astro and Palapan. Harbin may have fallen, but the point is theirs. The Gladiators are going to have to hold the archway to keep them in this map.
It gets difficult from here. The Dallas Fuel are coming up on all of those ultimates. We said they can cycle them. The Gladiators are going to have to come up with answers. I really like this play by Sparkle. Step up, get that ultimate. You want to get that blade early. And it also makes it slower for the Gladiators to approach. Take as much space away from them so they cannot dictate the idea of how they're going to attack this.
Nanoblade coming up for the Fuel. Could be the map-ending ultimate combo. Padapan's going fairly low. Edison's in the back. There's the Nano, it's on Sparkle, he's pulled the blade, he's found the support, Shu's dead, Lamp gone. Now Reiner has to put himself on the payload, but it don't matter. The rest of your team's already dead. The Dallas Fuel pushing the payload home. They claim King's Row and tie the series up.
Dallas Fuel showing why no one has really had an answer to their Zarya composition. I was a little worried about them against the rush of the Los Angeles Gladiators, but showing how they want to play against it. Interestingly enough, the Sparkle Genji is this weird cycling of the blade, but also he can get onto the back of Shu and punish him. How many times did he get into the back line and force Shu's lamp before the fight had even begun, then isolating Reiner? Phenomenal play by Dallas Fuel so far, and this is looking to be a series that's going to go back and forth.
We've definitely got a series on our hands. It's Glad's map choice up next. We're going to jump to a quick break. This is a series you're not going to want to miss. Do you think you know which team will win the Kickoff Clash? Do you? Well, you can prove it. Submit your art celebrating the team you think will be victorious for a chance to be featured on the fan art gallery. There's a ton of talented artists out there, and a lot of artists in the crowd, actually. A lot of fantastic signs I've been seeing today.
There's so many great signs out here. Great artists. They've all been doing such an incredible job. But man, this match is getting me hype, and it's only getting better, Jack. We're only at the beginning. We've seen the clash of styles, but now we move on to escort, and this is where it gets interesting because teams start going into their uncomfortable style. I am surprised that we're not seeing the Los Angeles Gladiators take them to Circuit Royale. They've been an incredibly good team on that. They sub in space to play that Sigma, and no one's been able to crack that. But they're actually going to go to Watchpoint Gibraltar, and that's why you're seeing the subs that you're seeing right now. Arn's in for Pattypan, obviously to play that Widowmaker. He's been so dominant since 2020, and he's looking to make it happen again. And when you see Arn's, you see skewed here on this map because he that Brig specialist for the Gladiators.
Yeah, especially on Watchpoint Gibraltar, a lot of high ground you want to deny, using the whip shot, even using the bash, it does a little boop you back a little bit. But Arns versus Gurio, who's stepping in for Edison. Gurio's Widowmaker yesterday was next level.
Watchpoint Gibraltar is going to be a hard one because we've seen so many Widowmakers go back and forth. And Gurio, as a rookie, is coming up against a hard player to go up against, an Arns, but Fearless, the man that we've been wanting more of this season, coming in to play the Winston as we would expect. But from their match yesterday against the Toronto Defiant, Jack, as much as they got the win, it did not look flawless, and they have not been good on this dive composition so far this season.
There's the chance to prove it right now that it is clean and concise. You don't really play anything but dive on Watchpoint Gibraltar. You need control of the high ground, like you need that Winston. Reiner versus Fearless. I'm just excited for the Widowmakers. I'm going to be really honest with you. Gurio versus Arns. Sparkle's staying in, so that's going to be nice to see. I wonder how they're going to be setting up. Reiner can... We've seen a little bit... Have we seen Doomfist on this map? Just a little bit? It's been so-so.
It's not as good as the Winston. The Winston has that verticality plus that Winston bubble, which protects your Widows, protects yourself, and allows you to move around the map more. I wouldn't expect either of these players to move towards that Doomfist. The Sparkle Kevs the head-to-head is going to be interesting. I think that might be a determining factor as well because Sparkle heavily prioritizes playing that Genji while Kevster prefers to play that Tracer. Will we see a mirror of either of those heroes, or are they going to stick to their comforts, and how is that going to change things? Because we saw in our earlier series, the Genji is a great way to assist your Widowmaker in the Widow head-to-head because the Widow has to always be fearful of that Genji coming from anywhere at any moment. So the dive mirror, I believe, favors the Gladiators. They've been better at it so far this season. They've looked cleaner on it, and they've played a lot more of it, while the Dallas Fuel have very rarely gone towards this look.
Watchpoint Gibraltar, third map. One apiece in the series so far. I would be a little bit scared. I wouldn't quite be Fearless if I was the Dallas Fuel.
Jack.
I know, it's good, right? And that's been the big story for me, at least with the Dallas Fuel, for coming into the season and comparing it to Dallas Fuel we've seen previously in previous years. Fearless has always been just an absolute animal on that pick, quite literally, right? But we come into 2022, and Fearless is not really the same as he used to be, whether that's a shift in meta or a shift in playstyle for the Dallas Fuel. We've not seen that same success. And if Reiner matches him and beats him out, like that is another rookie taking down a veteran player.
It's a very different style to what we saw in the 6v6 matchup. You have that other tank to protect you as you engage, to turn for your backline. It feels like Fearless hasn't felt perfectly comfortable playing that style, and the entirety of the Dallas Fuel haven't felt comfortable playing that style. We see Gurio coming out on that Widowmaker. I doubt Arns is going to stick to this Symmetra and Kevster on that Sojourn, but the Widow matchup has been one that has defined the Watchpoint Gibraltar so much. We saw Kai go absolutely crazy and win Atlanta Reign the map almost personally yesterday. Can Gurio have that same level of impact, or is he going to fall to the veteran presence of Arns?
Yeah, there you go. We see the switch from Arns away from the Sim. Just wanted to TP onto the bridge. Small difference there in Kevster Genji versus Sparkle Tracer. But it's all about the Widowmakers on this first point.
It's not what I expected. I was expecting Sparkle to be on the Genji and Kevster on the Tracer. So Sparkle, he has shown a very proficient Tracer over the last couple of years, really making a name for himself with certain plays. But Kevster on the Genji, we haven't seen a whole lot of it, but it's Kevster. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be more than okay. Oh, off screen. Sparkle takes one to the dome from Arns. It's a lot of pressure away from Arns at this point. Gurio, though, taking out Kevster. Okay. Widowmakers already making their mark on point A, Gibraltar.
It's an important kill if you're a rookie like Gurio on this stage. He's had some up and down performances so far, but getting that early pick, that could have easily snowballed away from the Dallas Fuel with that pick from Arns, but slows down that push.
Body shot onto Arns. Does need a lick of healing. There you go.
Someone needs to get on this card, and it's going to be Arns for them. You need to get this card pushed so that when you get that high ground presence, you can solidify on the capture. But the Dallas Fuel are getting a little bit aggressive here on the back of Fearless.
Extremely aggressive. Very early Primal Rage, instantly slept. Sparkle is there actually to protect him. Okay, make sure they can't line up and just kill him. Arns is 30 HP, needs some assistance. Pulse bomb from Sparkle's good though. Takes out Shu. A lot less healing now for the Gladiators. Means Reiner has to play rather safe. Sights active for the Fuel. Know exactly where the Glads are positioned.
Gladiators have their own ultimates now. Reiner has that Primal Rage. He's going to be able to engage. The Dallas Fuel setting themselves up in the server room, and then you have that crossfire from Gurio on the back of these rafters. And what that allows you to do is wherever the Gladiators go, someone's going to be protected and able to do everything. Reiner's taking that space, but the infraside is done for Arns, and this is going to force Dallas Fuel into the corners. Gurio does not have his active, and this will be go time for Gladiators.
Yeah, nano boost for both teams. Kevster going to light people up if he can. Gets a reset off Fearless with the help of Reiner. The blade comes in. Gurio on the other side and on the wrong side of Kevster. 2 kills for the Genji. The payload still moving. Gladiators have to chew through this rally, but Shu finishing off Sparkle should be good enough. Skewed sitting on a rally of his own. The Gladiators still pushing the payload, but Dallas Fuel with a very close spawn.
The backline of the Dallas Fuel stuck in the server room right now, almost isolated, and the Gladiators are coming, but there's only 1 minute remaining, and they only have the rally. They're going to need to rally around each other and move towards this server, because so far they've enabled the Dallas Fuel backline to just sit there, and that's been a problem.
And, oh, another body shot to Gurio, doesn't quite find the headshot. Sparkle now trying to dice with the aim. Again, so close to each other, they're just not finding the picks on either. Oh, Sparkle, you only have 92 HP. You've got to be careful still. Huge nade, by the way. Oh my word, off screen, Shu just hit a 3-man anti-Fearless Fielder and Chio were anti-naded. And then Reiner and Kevster just polished that up. There you go, instantly. That one ability ended the Dallas Fuel's life, and there you go, checkpoint A complete, doors are opening.
Using that rally from Skew to force the Dallas Fuel into a bad position. Dallas Fuel get caught on the rotation by an enormous nade by Shu, and this is just easy pick'ems from Kevster on the Genji as the Dallas Fuel get those forward spawns. That is an important set of picks for the Los Angeles Gladiators, because as you can see now, they can set up this second point exactly how they want to. The card is moving, and the Dallas Fuel are going to need to use these ultimates to get in. Sparkle throws a pulse bomb, but goes wide. They needed that pick, so now it comes down to Fearless to get something done with this Primal Rage.
I think heal Reiner, but it's meaningless damage if it's going to get healed up instantly. Shu and Skewed on the case. Still, Arns and Gurio really haven't had a strong 1v1. Fearless going in the Primal Rage. Kevster can just dash out if he really needs to. In fact, it doesn't matter. Sparkle's there to defend Fearless as he sleeps, but the Dallas Fuel might want to go again. They have a nano, they can send him in, but Kev's near in this nano blade. They're going to pop it straight away. As soon as he gets it, he's right on top of a beautiful deflect. Heals himself and kills off-fielder. Does he need anything else? I don't think so. The rest of his team are going to clean up. Chio and Gurio end up dying, and the Gladiators putting their feet on the payload and should be able to get point 2 now.
That was a masterclass by the Gladiators of how to attack this second point, Watchpoint Gibraltar. It can be so difficult if you lose that positioning. Fearless comes in with that Primal Rage. They go back and then re-engage with the Nano Blade, making it look easy. And once again, the Dallas Fuel are getting caught with these forward spawns. They should have jumped off the cliff, and now the Gladiators taking more and more space. being able to play the game however they want to. Look at the positioning of Arns. This is so hard to re-engage into because he's going to hit these headshots, and Dallas Fuel have got to be careful. This map is slipping away from them.
There's a small change also on that high ground. There's a little bit of cover for you to run behind now if you're a Widowmaker up there. I was just sitting in this room. Ooh, nice little body shot. Can't finish up the kill. Site's active for the Fuel. Everybody's visible. Holding S is the main objective for the Glad. Just wait for this to wear off. You do not want to peek these sites.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just too hard to maneuver around the map when everyone knows exactly where you are. Gladiators doing a great job with that, but they have the ultimates to get into this fight. They're going to try and take this positioning. Reiner's jumping onto Gurio in the bottom right, and now he has that mini room control. The Dallas Fuel are losing time. Fearless tries to take that positioning back on the high ground, but incredible stick by Sparkle.
A double blink. A quick look to the right, skewed shield, unfortunately pointing the wrong direction. A lot of ults for the Glad though for this next one.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing for the Gladiators. They have a lot of time because of how quickly they did the second point, but 90 seconds remaining. They don't have a lot going for them. The Dallas Fuel should have the answers to anything they're going to take. It might come down to the Widows here and the positioning that they can take.
Only 20% away from this blade. Just slowly but surely. Oh yeah, Kevsa does not want to try that. Nor the Brigitte right next to him. Just slowly but surely the Gladiators inching this payload forward. Nice engage there by Reiner, but both rallies are going to get activated. Fearless trying to isolate Shu and get skewed away at the same time. Look at this juggle. Is anybody going to go down though? There's just too much healing and the rally's too good. But Kevsa and Reiner ends up falling in the back line. Wow, Fearless there, just manhandling 3 people.
I've never seen that before. That was so smart by Fearless, recognizing that the rally is going off for skewed. If he can get close enough to Shu, then there's going to be too much healing for him to get through. Unfortunately, that juggling of the back and forth isn't enough, and they're able to live. But Dallas Fuel, they have the space. There was too many resources invested by the Gladiators to try and keep him alive. And now it gets harder for the Gladiators. 30 seconds remaining. We're going into the final fight. They pop the infra site to give them control, but they don't have any ultimates to get into this fight other than that.
Sights up for the Glads. Arns knows exactly where everybody lies in wait. That was very, very close. Takes the head off of Gurio. Feels like the first Widow on Widow kill we've seen in quite some time. What a shot by Arns. Both DPS eliminated. The Gladiators making their forward march. Reiner clearing up the supports, and now an eagle-eye view for Arns. The spawn doors are no longer safe, but neither is the rest of the map. 2 meters to go. Gurio switched to the Reaper to try and get something done. Doesn't quite get there. And in overtime, the Gladiators finish the map.
Arns coming alive at a very timely moment. They didn't have a lot of ways to get in there, using that infra site perfectly. Gurio not giving that respect right there. And you can see Arns on his face. He's just happy with himself. He knows what he's done. And the Gladiators finish the map. This is a difficult map to finish, and the Dallas Fuel have a long time to go. I'm looking at Gurio right now. He has not had that impact on the Widow that we saw from Arns right there. If they are going to get that push, they can't put all their reliance onto Fearless and Sparkle to make that effective dive.
It's going to be tough. Still with smiles on their faces though, that's the important thing. They know they're not out of this just yet. Same kind of stuff, Glads, same compositions, no real surprises there. Even yesterday, to be fair, Gurio's Widowmaker on Dorado specifically was just a terror to deal with. Like, how do you even stop a Widowmaker when they're on that like hot streak, right? And I mentioned at the very end, when Arns killed Gurio, that felt like the first Widowmaker kill from either side, like on each other. They've just not been running into each other, and if they have, they've been hitting body shots. Like, this is not what we're used to seeing.
Neither of them really, not just in the Widowmaker head-to-head, it didn't feel like either of them was having that high amount of impact, and they need to look towards this. Fearless going for another old trick in the book, going for the... Maybe next time, maybe next time. Switching over to that dive style again, we're going to see Kevsta once again pick up the Genji, Sparkle onto that Tracer, and the attack begins. We saw this in the last map on King's Row, Gladiators finishing the map, but Dallas Fuel able to rally back from that, having confidence in their own play. They need to do it again. Ooh.
Don't test Arns in the 1v1. No, he decides against it, grapples away. Sparkle was saving his blinks there so he could maybe get behind Arns. Still, though, a crack shot on the Widow.
Dallas trying to push the cart and also control that high ground. It's going to be Sparkle bouncing, jumping up and down on this cart to try and get it moving forward as the Gladiators do not want to contest it. And the Dallas Fuel slowly walking up to the high ground. Gurio, I need to see him come alive just here. The Gladiators are setting up in the same way the Dallas Fuel did. Get your backline into the server room. Makes it so they can't be sniped effectively and they can play protected. Big nade onto Chio and he goes down.
Oh, another fantastic nade by Shu. Reiner suffers the same fate. He's going so low. So close to falling. Oh, dear.
That's time off the clock right there. That's 1 minute. And we've seen how quickly the first point can slip away from you as the offensive team. Just a couple of picks, a couple of bad ultimates, and it can all go away. Kevs are getting incredibly low against the Sparkle Tracer, but just not enough. And the Dallas Fuel just getting those ultimates up. Look at the ult charge of Gurio, only at 34%.
Nice headshot, but it's not going to result in a kill. Onto Reiner. Oh, now Sparkle is paying Arns a little visit. He knows exactly where Arns is. He's got the pulse bomb in hand. Arns needs to find something big here. Huge stick from Sparkle to start off the fight. Gurio now is going to have the entire map basically for free, if he so chooses. Reiner gets slept off the back of the nano from Shu. Humongous stuff from the backline of the Dallas Fuel. They stop Kevster from doing all too much. Sparkle does fall, but the Gladiators, a lot of thorns in their side right now. The Dallas Fuel are now moving on. The guys, they can recontest though, Scott. Reiner getting out alive is important. He bought Primal Rage in the back, trying to get Fearless away, but Fearless has just taken them right back to their spawn. Arns is now in trouble. He's gone slept, he's gotten woken. He is anti, but he's out of there. Reiner popped the Primal Rage super early, Scott, to try and find a kill, but now he doesn't have it for this point. Going low, got anti, but skewed with a rally on the payload. Shu's also getting rally, but he's getting nanoed. A little bit of a raid post. Kevster tried to find an opening, but Fielder closed that door. Arns is dead, and the payload so close to being captured. It's only a matter of time. They just need to focus down skewed. They do just that, and the Fuel open those doors to point B.
Fearless just existing in the backline of the Los Angeles Gladiators, them not having any ability to deal with him, and they just have that constant threat in the back of their mind. So when the Gladiators were going aggressive, they couldn't get that support. So great play by Fearless, and the Gladiators used almost everything to get that back. Kevster with the blade, we saw the snowball from them on their attacking route. Gladiators need to find a stop here.
There's the blade from Kevster. There's no nano, but it don't matter. Gurio had no shift to get away. A lot of damage onto Fearless, but the quick heal, quick reactions from Fielder. Gonna make sure he stays alive. Another unreal anti from Shu. Stops the Fuel from doing all of too much. Oh! Ooh, Sparkle kills Skewed and Kevster. A nice little 180 stick there.
I will say I hit this yesterday. Sparkle loves to use his pulse bomb on the way out, and it's the kind of thing that we talked about it when it whiffed, it wasn't good, but even when it hits, did that really have that much impact? Gladiators keep the positioning, and the Dallas Fuel aren't able to walk forward, and this was such an important hold from the Gladiators because now they have the position, but an enormous nade from Fielder should get that positioning back.
Shu's so low, but look at that, cowering behind Skewed shield. A nano boost has been earned, and Arns finds the kill onto Gurio. He's up on the top of the ship. Another very, very hard place to get to. Arns in trouble. Needs to go to his healers, but Fearless takes him out. Problem is, Reiner had already popped the Primal Rage and finds double kill. The Fuel struggling, as I think most teams do, to be fair, in this hangar.
Second point Gibraltar is notoriously difficult to push through because once the hold happens and the Winstons are able to hold these doors, the Widow's able to get set up on the high ground, it becomes almost impossible to find a way through this door. Fearless with the Primal Rage has to try and give the rest of his team space to walk in and help Gurio get some space so he can finally start getting some of these picks.
We are seeing both nanos coming online. There it is, applied to Reiner. Small corridor, but Fearless just bats him away. Reiner's going to send himself to the high ground. Should be an easy boop. Yes, it is. Kevs doesn't really want to dice with that either. So a lot of healing in that small corridor, and Fearless, he gets slept, but not before he manages to kill the Brigitte. Gurio now in trouble. Reiner trying to punish these kills, but no. Again, quick reactions from Fielder to keep Gurio alive. They've got Nano, they've got Rally to follow this one up. They may have lost Sparkle, but they're not going down without a little bit more of a fight. Nice nade onto Shu. Gurio cleaning up Arns. They've finally broken this point open.
Are they going to commit with this skewed rally, or are they just going to give it up? You see, with the silhouette moving on, they are going to give it up, and they got to be careful about getting snowballed here. Dallas Fuel, they smell blood in the water, and they're going aggressive.
Another big name. There's the nano onto Fearless. Pulse bomb from Kevster. Chio luckily didn't activate that rally in response, but if you're the Fuel, you'll take that. A rally, and now you can use yours. Both hammers end up going down. Oh, does he escape? No,
maybe not. You're not too upset if you're the Dallas Fuel. The spawn doors are right there. You will take that rally, you will take those ultimates and come back stronger. Chio, as you said, keeps the rally, and they're going to be able to set up that engagement. Now, it gets this long run through this third point. Only 2 minutes remaining. They need to get through this first half quickly because the back half is where the challenge is.
Pulse bomb available for Sparkle, but he's just getting permanently checked by Kevster. It's hard for him to do all of anything. Luckily, there's a health pack behind him, so he can escape back to that if he so chooses. Gladiators willing to fight in the spawn, though. Sparkle with a stick, lands on the shield, but Skewed still dies. The Dallas Fuel now have an opening. Reiner's going pretty low. He's only got one healer to back him up, but it's not enough. The nade to finish it, and the Fuel now are getting this payload going. They got 1 minute and 20 seconds to go as they try and get to those spawn doors, but yet again, Arch checking Sparkle with a headshot.
Important pick that slows the roll of the Dallas Fuel. Importantly, though, for them, they held on to that rally. They have these big ultimates to be able to get back into this fight, but Reiner wants to go first. He's not giving them any inch.
Oh, nice pulse by Kevster. Gurio trying to get away from his team so he doesn't do any team damage. Dallas Fuel still have that rally, like you were mentioning, Scott. But with Reiner's Primal Rage, you could stop that from really happening. If you isolate Chio, push him off the map, or just push him away from the team, that overhealth isn't going to be as effective.
Going into final fight territory with only 45 seconds remaining, the Gladiators done a good job of playing aggressive, forcing the Dallas Fuel. They don't want to use their ultimates so early in the fight. Fearless is going in with the Primal, trying to isolate the Ana again, but gets slept by Shu another time.
Whoops-a-daisy. Reiner actually broke Fearless up. We'll see if it results in all too much. Nano boost onto Skewed to keep him alive. Arns has a nice little high ground advantage. But Reiner, look at this. He's trying to just bully people in this small room. The kills are coming through. Reiner doing a whole bunch of work. No one can move. They all get turned into a smoothie. And the Dallas Fuel, with 10 seconds to go, need to touch the payload.
And you can see the way the Gladiators are setting up. They want to hold close, make it so the Dallas Fuel has to run through them to get the cart. Maybe thinking better of a little bit here with the walls coming out from Gurio, but Arns gets Sparkle again with an early headshot.
A massive pick for the Gladiators. The rally on Fearless to make sure he can touch. They still have to keep juggling the payload, though. A boot from Skewed might just do it. Fearless can't get back. Skewed with a massive shift. Arns standing up. You want some of this? The Gladiators 2-1 up in the series. Match point. The Dallas Fuel need to find something special to come back now.
Gladiators taunting the Dallas Fuel with some C9s in chat. They're starting to feel themselves. That was an impressive play by the Gladiators, but exactly what we expected in this series. The Dallas Fuel have not been looking good on this dive, and once again it shows up. The Gladiators feeling confident in their play right now. Absolutely dominant. Where do you take the Gladiators now if you're the Dallas Fuel? It has to go to push. Both maps are pretty good for that Xayah composition. Surely it should be their map to take.
Surely. This was their map take too, right? They chose Watchpoint Gibraltar. We'll have to find out where they want to go and who's subbing in, who's subbing out after this break. Do not go anywhere. The Gladiators one map away from sending the Dallas Fuel down to the lower bracket. The hometown heroes. That Gibraltar game, man, that was pure skill mashup. The compositions were almost alike. You had a Genji and the Tracer difference there. And Reiner just got the better of Fearless at the end of it.
It's just hard, I think, for the Dallas Fuel. They haven't leaned into playing this Winston composition at all so far throughout this season. Every time they have, it hasn't looked that good. They've really relied on that Hanbin, Edison, Xayah, Reaper composition, while the Los Angeles Gladiators, that's been their bread and butter, and you can tell when you see them play, they just understand the matchup better. But we're moving on, and the subs are coming back in. Paddy Pan, France, the classic.
Yep, Dallas Fuel choosing Colosseo as our push map. So Astro coming back in. We're probably going to see shades of control on this map.
Interestingly for me, we just saw the Gladiators lose on the rush versus the Xayah in that linear style map. Colosseo is very similar to that kind of thing because there's just long corridors, and the Dallas Fuel are going to be able to just sort of disengage every time the Gladiators do try and engage. So I want to see if they're going to make any adjustments, if they're going to play the dive style into the Xayah, or if they want to keep sticking to that rush.
Have to wait and see. Edison coming in for Gurio. Didn't come out the gate hot on the Widowmaker. Edison well warmed up. His Reaper play looked pretty good on King's Row, that is for sure. And Hanbin stepping in for Fearless.
There's a sign out here that says, Hanbin is my dad. He is for the Dallas Fuel right now. He is leading the charge, and every time they are getting these wins, it is on the back of his stellar Xayah play and collaborating with Edison. So go back to their bread and butter, find their style, and really just help push them over the line, because they only have push, and then after push, there's control. So they can play this Xayah composition for the rest of this series. So Dallas Fuel should be home. They just need to reset their mental. There's the sign. The legendary sign.
The legendary sign. You need Harbin to sign it now. That'll be the cherry on top. Just waiting for the players to get into the lobby, and then we right underway. Yeah, the Glads. It's always fun, I can imagine, being on the stage and win against the home team. Fun or scary?
I played against Dallas at one of their home games in 2019. Okay. I got booed. Dallas fans, you got to answer for that first. But I did get booed. The Dallas Fuel are just a scary team at home. They've always played up to their potential whenever they're here. But today, looking a little bit shaky. The Gladiators seem to have had an answer every time they haven't been able to play their comfort composition. So I don't know what the Dallas Fuel are going to pull out on this Xayah composition, and if the Gladiators are going to make some adjustments. Maybe they play the Winston. Reiner has been phenomenal so far this season, playing at 1.2 deaths per 10 minutes. He's just living forever. They're almost impossible for them to kill him. 19 eliminations almost. He's just putting in that work. He's been a standout player for this Los Angeles Gladiators as a rookie. And not only that, he has the flexibility to play these other heroes like the Doomfist, like the Reinhardt.
Well, we're heading in. What could be our final map? Going to push Colosseo, Dallas Fuel's choice. It's not quite like the reverse sweep kind of thing we set up at the very start, but turning out to be an incredibly close game. Just want to see what Glads are going to do, because yeah, the flexibility is just paramount.
There are a lot of corridors, so if Paddy Pan did want to lean back into that Mei, it could work. It's definitely worked for them in the past, and we have seen teams do it, especially the London Spitfire on the back of that chatty play. But it has had mixed success, and no one has made that work versus the Dallas Fuel.
Oh, we know who the crowd's behind that. That's for certain. Oh, it'll be Doomfist, maybe. Okay.
Interestingly enough, heading into the season, we did hear rumors of the Hanbin Doomfist. It was something that they were picking up, they were playing around, also with that Sparkle Genji. But it actually feels like right now Dallas Fuel are going to play this Xayah Hanzo composition that we just saw in the last series, while the Gladiators, they're going to go to something more traditional with their Doomfist Soldier Tracer. Very different matchup right here than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, that Hanzo comp, like we saw earlier, very slow, just waiting for the picks from the Hanzo, but Gladiators, they don't want to wait around at all.
We already see Kevster making his way around the side. You look, he's already behind the Dallas Fuel. They're not going to allow them to just free shoot, try and get some of those picks. The cat's out of the bag though, Edison's looking at him.
Yeah, an unbelievably defensive nade there from Fielder. As soon as that cooldown goes down, as the go sign really for the Gladiators, just dive into the back line. Still have to be rather careful. Edison, quite a crack shot on the Hanzo. Can whip round and pin your head to a wall if you're not careful. Already though, Gladiators not like putting on the pressure, the tempo that I thought they would.
I feel like they're just waiting. They're too slow right now. It feels like they're just waiting for Edison to get a pick. They need to find some form of purchase with their dive composition because they're not going to win the long form. But the big nade coming in from Shu.
There you go, Edison falls, nice anti-nade. Easy clean up. Now Sparkle in a lot of trouble using those legs to get away. Kev's doing a fair amount of damage. Already earned himself a pulse bomb and a slam and a couple of left clicks from Reiner. That'll be the win for the Gladiators on this first fight. Fuel takes Shu down, so Glads can't push this as far as they potentially want to because of Ana falling.
Yeah, you already see Funny Astro running back to spawn to pick up Shu. This is a big pick-off for them, so now the Dallas Fuel should be able to come in, get control of the butt. Edison not finding any value on that Hanzo and switching over to the Tracer. Something we haven't seen from him much this season, but he is definitely proficient at this hero. Kevster with the pulse bomb, he's looking for something big.
Looking for Fielder, he spots him, throws it out. Fielder with a fancy feet dodge is out the way, and now Chio is just going to play point guard there, making sure Fielder doesn't get any more, get any harassment from the back line. Nano Visor for Sparkle. Padapan trying to hide behind that giant wall, doesn't end up working out well for him at all. The Dallas Fuel, they are naded in the back, but look at this positioning from Sparkle. They're easily dismantling the backline of the Gladiators. Very little protection for Shu and Funny Astro, with Reiner playing this Doomfist and both the DPS wanting to flank and get some damage in.
Los Angeles Gladiators, that's a tragedy. They use the Nano Visor themselves, but the Dallas Fuel go first. Padapan gets too low, too early, has to start hiding, but Sparkle able to find that kill, and they've got the cart moving right now. Gladiators set up on that high ground, waiting for the engagement, and Reiner's going early with the Meteor Strike.
Straight to the back, maybe way more defensively than I thought. Power blocks up, no one shoots him, hasn't got that charged up punch, and actually the Fuel are going to send in that beat. What an amazing block, whether it was you were meant to do that or you didn't mean to do that, you blocked Reiner's path to escape using that punch. It doesn't do crazy amount of damage if you just get normally whacked by it. So he was unable to escape, and now the Dallas Fuel with a grab in hand and a pulse bomb could be the bigger bang here.
Reiner switching over to this Winston, not happy with how the Doomfist is working out. He's already getting low. He's unable to move around this map right now without just getting absolutely poked down. The Dallas Fuel slowly moving this, but Hanbin with the Graviton Surge, he's looking for something big.
Edison has to set up right beside him or close to the vicinity of this grab. Just checking Kevster. Okay, Kevster has at least called out where Edison is. Edison has a recall, but decides not to use it just yet. Just jostling around this payload. Hanbin looking for this opening with the grab. As soon as Reiner jumps in with the Nano, maybe this is time to go. Hanbin actually turns around, gets slept, and that Nano Winston doing way too much work in the backline. The Fuel trying to come back in this fight with the Nano Visor, but everybody just scattering as soon as Sparkle tried to find targets.
Dallas Fuel getting desperate there, trying to use the Nano Visor after Hanbin gets low. Sparkle probably could have saved that Visor, but doesn't. We see some switches coming in. Edison onto the Reaper, Sparkle onto the Tracer to deal with this Winston switch from Reiner. But look at this positioning by Gladiators. They have everything they want right now. Hanbin throws the grab.
Graviton Surge right on top of Reiner. He's got a bubble on top of him, and our beat to match. Shio finds a kill onto Shu. The beat from Funny Astro a little bit too late to save his flex support. Hanbin's quite high energy, but Padapan on the side manages to find a Visor. A couple of kills. The positioning from the Fuel just getting torn apart as Padapan and Reiner are going to clean up the rest. They're going to be able to take the lead now.
Once again, Padapan stepping up. in the playoffs for the Kickoff Clash. Struggled to get value out of those visors, but he has made it work so far. Chio's going aggressive, just falls on the point before anyone else from his team is here. Maybe thinking they could have got them before the Gladiators reaggress.
He jumped on that payload so they didn't take the lead, but now with only a couple of meters to go, the Gladiators want to be able to get that going again. Maybe that was a smart heads-up play. Puts Gladiators on a timer. Sparkle dying and Edison falling too. The Dallas Fuel kind of falling apart right now. And Gladiators, there you go. They've taken the lead.
I don't like that play to stop the cart. There's still so much time left in this map to go back and forth, giving up your life. And now the Gladiators edging into the checkpoint. That is the big thing that matters right now.
Primal Rage to bash the Fuel back. The Fuel have 2 support ultimates to back them up in this fight. 3 meters to go. Reiner pushes himself to the high ground. There's the beat. It hits only 2, and Fielder unfortunately suffers death. Edison gets nanoed and is able to Wraith walk away. He's got a little bit of damage down, but Patapan on the high ground just raining down so much damage. Edison and Chio end up falling over, and the Gladiators, they're getting this checkpoint. 2 meters to go. Harbin jumping down in desperation. Now Sparkle to try and do something, but with the healing station and just Funny Astro existing, it's too much for him to deal with. The Gladiators have unlocked checkpoint A.
You said it yourself, Jack. Desperation, that's what the gameplay looks like from Dallas Fuel. The coordination, all the plans have gone out the window. They're just throwing their bodies at the point to stop it from moving forward, but not trying to actually win these fights. Fielder switches over to Moira to try and live.
Graviton Surge from Hanbin, he earns it. Oh, nice kill onto Patapan. Graviton Surge right on top of Gladiators. The sound barrier not enough to keep Shu alive. A pulse bomb though from Kevster's good. Hanbin had no bubbles to back him up. The Dallas Fuel are struggling. At least Chio's picking up these kills every now and then, but still the payload, the bot is so far forward for the Gladiators. The Fuel are going to need a miracle to come back. There's a minute to go now.
They just cannot deal with Kevster right now. He's just running circles around them. 1 minute to go. They need to get back to the checkpoint. The card is moving, but already we see Patapan go down, but Hanbin to follow.
Edison with a nice kill with the Death Blossom, but no, just followed straight up. You saw the bubble going straight on top of him to stop that damage ringing around the rest of the Gladiators. And now the Fuel pushed all the way back to spawn. They've got a Coalescence coming up, Scott, but that's just about it.
They're just not playing the same way we know it. Edison forcing this Death Blossom, and the Gladiators are just playing reactively. They haven't even really needed to use ults to deal with it. We're going into fight-to-fight territory, and Patapan and Shu almost have their ultimates. That Nano Visor is going to be almost impossible for the Dallas Fuel to deal with unless Chio can get that sound barrier.
Sparkle's pulse needs to be massive. He's sniffed out, so now can just play in a main. He has to get Shu with this pulse.
Has to.
He has to. He spotted one. Pulse goes wide. No, that's not what you want to see if you are the Fuel. They use that Coalescence though to push them forward, and a beat as well. The Gladiators throwing a ton in. Tactical Visor with the Nano on top. Paddy's going so low. Hanbin deals with him, but the bot is still moving with 5 seconds to go. The Dallas Fuel needed entrance into this fight. Reiner's batting everybody away as overtime is about to get triggered.
This is only the beginning though. Dallas Fuel, they need to win this fight and they need to keep it going, but Reiner is just being such a nuisance.
Hanbin going low, he gets anti, but still manages to kill Shu. If they can just stabilize with Fielder coming back, they should be good. Reiner just dancing around this bubble with 5 members of the Dallas Fuel right now on top of him. He wasn't long to live. Astro falls, final fight still for the Fuel.
Dallas Fuel need to get some composure here. They need to start cycling their abilities. They don't need to win 1 team fight to win this map. They need to win 2, maybe 3. The Los Angeles Gladiators coming in and they're getting early picks with Fielder.
Humongous orb to kill Patapan, but Kevster with a big pulse bomb laying it next to Hanbin as he sleeps. Kevster from the high ground with an Eagle's Watch is going to run it down Fielder. Fielder's self-regeneration is pretty good, but burning the Fade is not great. Kevster just piling on that pressure. They kill the Moira, they might win the game. The Dallas Fuel are crumbling. Overtime is ticking down. The Gladiators push the robot back. They take control and take the series 3-1.
Kevster at the end there, 25-player kill streak. He was just running around doing whatever he wanted. Dallas Fuel did not have an answer. Kevster once again putting on an MVP performance, and the Gladiators having the composure at the end, whereas the Dallas Fuel faltered.
They still get another chance. They are moving down to the lower brackets. They are not out of this just yet. The Gladiators move on forward. A 3-1 victory on what was a little bit of a struggle from the Fuel, but Gladiators showing their adaptability and their compositional differences. They can play basically whatever. They have a very, very deep hero pool in DPS slot. Reiner can play seemingly everything. It's looking great.
This is the Gladiators that we saw throughout the Kickoff Clash, but it doesn't feel like we've actually had an experience because they had those 2 reverse sweeps. They were playing so well, just unable to close out. Today it looks like they've gotten over that hill. They're playing way better, whereas the Dallas Fuel, they're going to be taking their step down to the lowest bracket, and that's the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel now that people are going to have to face if they want to make their way to the grand finals.
It is a super scary situation. Number 3 seed knocking out the number 2 seed. Oh, Sparkle, don't trip. Don't want to injure yourself for the next game.
Oh, wow.
Yeesh. I was brave bringing that sign in.
A brave man standing in the crowd full of Dallas Fuel fans, but deservedly so. The Gladiators having a phenomenal performance, and they deserve to have this lap of victory because it feels like they're finally becoming that team that we were promised this year.
Still got a little ways to go though before they get into the finals. Gladiators still looking clean, and man, Padapan also had a fantastic game. Like his Mei throughout the entire series looked very, very solid. And now where did the Dallas Fuel go? They've experimented a little bit with Fearless going on to the Winston, these dive compositions, and they chose the last 2 maps, but both compositions just not working out. Yes, they are the originators of this Zarya comp, but looks like maybe a couple of teams just improving on it and then beating them out with it.
Washington, Florida, that is the winner they will have to play against. Can they win that matchup, or do they have confidence in that Zarya composition still?
Well, let's have a little word with Shu down on the floor. Danny, take it away.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, I am down here with Shu. I think he is excited for this interview. He's already getting his voice ready. Hi, Shu. How are you feeling?
Hi. So good.
So good. Obviously, I'm sure you're feeling great because you just beat the Dallas Fuel as well. I mean, the last time you guys played was, I think it was in week 2 where you guys unfortunately took the L and Dallas Fuel won. But today you guys finally got your revenge. How does that feel? 자, 일단 제가 알기로는 2주였나요? 아마 달라스 팀과
네, 맞아요.
마지막 했었을 때가 경기를 했었을 때가 그때였는데 그때는 아쉽게 패배를 했지만 오늘 드디어 복수전에 성공을 하시게 되었습니다. 좀 어떻게 기분이 좀 어떠신가요?
저희가 작년부터 쇼크 좀 강팀들을 상대로 좀 많이 지고, 근데 이제 그 중에서 이제 댈러스만 한 번도 못 이겨봤고 이번에도 처음으로 이기나 싶었는데 역습도 당하고 해서 많이 우울했는데 이번에 복수전을 성공해서 기분이 너무 좋아요.
I mean, since last year, our schedule always had really strong teams such as San Francisco Shock, but it was always the Dallas Fuel that we always lost to, even getting reverse swept sometimes. So that we were really sad about that, but today we finally got a revenge. We beat the Dallas Fuel, so it really, really feels great. And talking about getting that revenge, I do want to ask you about today's match, because, you know, you guys are in Dallas, you guys beat the Dallas Fuel. What was the game plan coming into today's match? 자, 아무래도 오늘 좀 달라스에 있고 또 오늘은 또 복수전에 성공을 하셨기 때문에 오늘 경기에 들어오시기 전에 좀 어떤 이제 뭐 계획이나 이제 좀 게임 플랜이 좀 어떻게 됐나요? 오늘 경기에 대해.
이제 게임 플랜은 이제 상대방이 어떤 선수가 들어오냐에 따라서 좀 저희 조합을 좀 바꾸기도 했고, 그 다음에 이제 그냥 다 같이 그냥 전부 다 이기자, 그냥 좀 욕을 섞어가면서
욕을 섞어가면서
그냥 부수자 뭐 이런 느낌.
아, 부수자.
네, 이겨버리자 이런 느낌으로, 이런 마음가짐으로 다 준비했던 것 같아요.
All right. I think our mentality was first and foremost win. We even used a lot of strong words, a little bit of cuss words maybe here and there. Really wanted to hype ourselves up for our matches, and also just depending on what the Dallas lineup was looking like, what players were coming out for the matches or for the maps. We wanted to be flexible enough to change our composition and change our play style, and I think that's what our game plan was coming into today's match. And also, she also did mention that, you know, they're also another mentality was they really want to just break Dallas Fuel. I think that break thing is sort of like a trend right now. 아무래도 이번에 또 이제 글래디뿐만이 아니라 또 다른 팀들도 이렇게 막 부순다는 얘기를 좀 많이 했거든요. 그래서
네.
이게 좀 트렌드가 아닌가 싶습니다. 자, 마지막 질문입니다. One more question. Shiu, I feel like Gladiators are one of those unique teams that are really flexible, like you mentioned. Winston Dive, Doomfist, even to rush comps. What is your favorite comp to play and why? 자, 아무래도 글래디가 조금 더 특별한 이유는 이제 굉장히 유연한 좀 이렇게 팀 조합들을 많은 팀 조합들을 쓰기 때문에 이제 뭐 윈스턴 다이브도 그렇고 둠피스트 등등 좀 많은 조합을 쓰는 팀이어서 슈 선수의 좀 개인적인 제일 좋아하는 조합이 있다면
제가 일단 아나아나 바티스트 같은 걸 플레이할 때 좀 힐보다는 공격적으로 많이 하는 성향이 좀 있는데 이제 우리가 둠피스트 조합을 쓰면 이제 제가 좀 딜을 넣으면서 같이 좀 도와줄 수 있는 역할을 하고 이제 제 공격적인 역할을 좀 더 돋보일 수 있어서 저는 둠피스트 조합을 더 선호하는 것 같아요.
I would have to say the Doomfist comp that we use are my personal favorite because I am a very aggressive player when I play the Ana or Bap, and you know, while supporting the Doomfist, I could also put in a lot of damage to the opposing team, and also sort of I could get the spotlight as well when I'm doing that as well for those compositions. So yes, Doomfist is my favorite. That is it for the interview. Thank you so much, Shiu. Everybody, give it up for Shiu one more time.
감사합니다.
Costa and Josh, back to you.
Cheers, Danny. Yeah, I mean, the Doomfist comp, it's pretty fun to play around, let's be real. You just go in, hit some sick nades, and then, just get some kills.
I don't think anyone's surprised that Shiu is anywhere where I can do damage is my favorite composition because he does it so well, and he's just been so consistent throughout the years. MVP performance last year, putting up another one this year. He's just offers so much for the team, not just in the things that are expected from him of the healing, but also the sleeps, the healing, everything on top of it, the damage that he just seems to end the clutches on top of that as well. So absolutely incredible play from him and the entirety of the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Yep, and he's going to be our player of the match for this one. On top of that, and yeah, that damage output from the Batiste, like you said, the clutch factor, the amount of times he comes back in, puts the window in front of himself, and then just havoc. Can't deal with this.
It enables the Gladiators to do so much as well. You saw that flexibility. How many different compositions did we see from the Los Angeles Gladiators just today? I think about 3 or 4 different looks, and that makes them so difficult to prepare against. And that's what makes them such a dominant team. If you're the Atlanta Reign when you're about to go up against the Gladiators, how do you prepare for that? We have 2 looks from the Atlanta Reign and about like 7 from the Gladiators. So having that is a massive boon and why they are deservedly so in the winners bracket finals.
Yeah, Shiu at a time back, like in the Apex era, like a lot of the DPS a lot of the support players will play Widowmaker, and Shiu was one of those. You can see it in his aim, right? Like, just unbelievable. Helps with the sleep darts too, of course. But like every time, whoa, Nano Monkey, doesn't matter. Shiu has a sleep dart. Sleep dart success rate 54%, looking clean, and sleeps per 10 is.
That's
also
outrageous.
quite ridiculous.
That is an outrageous sleep dart success rate. He's just putting in the work, and you could tell Fearless, especially on that Watchpoint Gibraltar, just struggling. Every time he tried to go in aggressive, he was getting slept, and that, you know, that inherently enables everyone else. Arn's just getting so much value on that Widow. It's incredible to see, and I just want to see more from this guy as he plays against the best teams. But you know, they're going up against the Atlanta Reign, a team that could be unstoppable.
Could be. We'll have to wait and find out. That's a little bit later. But we're going to jump to a quick break. We got 2 matches to come, Scott. And there's 2 teams going home today. We'll have to find out who they are after this break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.